Hey folks, it's the Ioniq guy. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. Today's going to be more of a update on my life and the channel. I got a lot of things going on in the next few weeks, so I wanted to give you guys heads up on all that. I wanted to let you guys know about the press cars I've had, as well as product reviews coming up and 3D printing, my products, just general updates on the channel. So if you guys are interested in finding out all these big changes going on, then stay tuned. So I wanted to give you guys a heads up that over the next few weeks and month and a half, you're gonna see me a little bit less here on YouTube and on Facebook. I've got a ton going on. Tomorrow I'm flying out to Minnesota to move my fiance back home. Her one-year program out there has just finished up. So you're not gonna see me a whole lot in this coming week. And then when she's back, in 2 weeks, we're going to be moving to the Boston area. So gonna be leaving my house here. I am renting it out to my friend's father. So I still might be filming here in the backyard because it's a good spot for me. It's relatively quiet and I have a lot of space. So you might still see videos coming out of my backyard, but for the most part, I'm gonna be doing everything from Boston going forward. So the time from when we get home from Minnesota to when we move to Boston is gonna be a lot of cleaning the house, organizing, packing, purging, just a whole bunch of stuff. And then on top of all that, once my fiance is back home, we are gonna start planning our wedding. So that's gonna be eating up a lot of time, but that's also very exciting. My sister also just had a baby, so it's just like, this summer is just insanely busy, and hopefully as fall comes back, my fiance starts her new job in Boston, things will kind of settle down, we'll get settled into our new spot, and then I can really focus on bringing you guys really good quality content here. I really want to try and up the quality of my videos. I think quality over quantity is probably more preferable. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys would prefer to see. More videos of lesser quality or fewer videos of higher quality. I'm generally interested. So I'm gonna try and keep putting out my regular 2 videos per week, Wednesday or Thursday, and then Saturday or Sunday, but I might not be able to meet that every single week just because of the amount of things going on. And then in August, we're hoping to do a vacation. Me and her have not done a proper vacation, just the 2 of us, in quite a while now, so it's very much needed. Obviously, I sell items to you guys, so if you are putting orders through, I will still be fulfilling them. I'm not gonna close my shop or anything. Just know that orders might be delayed a few days here and there, mostly from the time when I pack up my shop and am relocating it to Boston. I have already uploaded and posted to my channel members a few videos that are going to be released over the next couple weeks. So if you do want to see those early, you can go ahead and become a channel member for as little as $3 per month. That is one of the best ways you can help support the Ioniq guy, as well as just everything I do here. I really appreciate your guys' ongoing support, as well as well wishes, as well as just general positivity towards the channel. It really means a lot to me. So that's enough about my personal life. Let's talk about the cars and some things coming to the channel in the near future. So a lot of you already know that I 3D print accessories for the Ioniq 5. I've been spending a lot of time the last few days perfecting my ultimate cup holder design and printing processes. I was printing them right side up, and I've decided to flip them over. I'm now printing them on my textured build surface, which gives them a pretty cool surface finish. This one has been probably my most complicated product to date, and I've done a lot of prototyping. As you can see, I've got just dozens of these. I've thrown out a lot of them. Many of them, unfortunately, haven't come out well. So it's been quite the process, but I think I've got it dialed in just right now. These are available on my store at ioniqguy.com if you are interested. Here's how it mounts in the Ioniq 5. You basically just push it right in there. These little arms still go in and out. And there's a little notch here so the cable doesn't fall back through, but basically you can get in the car, plug in your phone. If I had the other arm free, this would be a lot easier, but then your phone can just stay in here. You've got a couple larger cup holders. You can get the smaller cup holders, some pen slots, credit card slot. And then obviously you still have use of these cup holders as well. I have this version, then I have a version that also mounts in reverse, so the cup holders are back here. I also modeled a little drop-in bin here for this spot in the Ioniq 6. And I've been trying to think of things that I could do with this spot. Maybe just a simple organizer is all people really want, but I don't really know what else to do with this. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know down in the comments section what you would be interested in seeing located right here in the Ioniq 6. I've never really shown you guys my little build area here. This is where I keep all of my tools, my parts, my limited stock, because I am 3D printing. I don't really need to have a lot of stock ready to go. I just print it as the orders come in. But yeah, this is where all your orders are prepared and where they go out from. Some of you might not know already, but the automatic walkaway door lock module that I sell on my store does work with the Ioniq 6. I've had it installed on mine for the last 2 months and it's been working flawlessly. So once you have it installed, all you do is shut all the doors, and then within 10 seconds, you'll see that door handle pop shut. So no more leaving your car unlocked, especially considering it's quite obvious when these door handles are extended. I do wish that my SE had the auto folding side view mirrors, but it does not, unfortunately. The Ioniq 6 does not have the trailer light wire harness plug in the trunk like the Ioniq 5, the EV6, and the Genesis GV60 all have, because this car isn't really meant for towing. So it does make installation a little bit more challenging. You are gonna have to tap the wires located under the driver's seat, but it's still not that bad, and it does add a lot of functionality to the car. EV6 is super easy. You just have that panel there. You pop open the door there, and then this is just living inside of there. I brought mine through the 12-volt opening here just because I have to test these things for quality. Every single one gets tested before it gets shipped out, so I wanted easy access instead of having to have my trunk completely taken apart all the time. But regardless, this is the simplest and safest way to install the device. I've also tested it on the EV9 and it works perfectly there as well. And that installation is pretty easy too. You basically just lift up the floor panels, and then this wire is located under the floor there, but you do have to wire tap it because I'm not able to source these connectors. I've tried multiple sources and none of them can find the part number, so I think it might be proprietary to Hyundai and Kia, unfortunately. So let's talk EV chargers. So this right here is an Enphase IQ charger. This is a device I have been testing for over 6 months now. Enphase sent me this back in January. I'm going to be putting out a full review on this relatively soon, but you guys know I have Enphase microinverters for the solar panels on my house. So I reached out to them because I was excited to try this because this can utilize excess solar generation that's not being utilized by the house to charge the car. So when I get home from work, I usually just plug this in even if I don't really need to. And then the roughly 3 to 4 extra kilowatts of power are just getting put back into the battery pack instead of being sent back to the grid. I like charging on solar. I love that idea. So if you guys have an Enphase system and are interested in their dedicated charger, be sure to stay tuned. This is going to be a hard sell for a lot of people who aren't already using the Enphase system, because this isn't exactly cheap compared to some of its competitors. You're definitely paying a premium for having something that integrates into the system you already have, especially if you have Enphase batteries as well. Microinverters, decent sell, but if you have Enphase microinverters as well as battery packs and everything, I think it's a no-brainer to go with their charger. You might be wondering why I have 2 Autel Maxi chargers. Well, this is the one I reviewed last year, and this is their new version. It has an updated cable here that should be more flexible, so stay tuned for a review on this. You guys know I really love the Autel Maxi charger. You no longer see my charge point on the wall anymore. I had a lot of issues with that. At this point, I pretty much only recommend Autel to people. They're very price competitive and they offer a lot of features, a lot of bang for the buck. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Down here is another product that I owe you guys a review on. This is from Shark Racing. It's basically a replacement for the top-mounted accelerator pedal, similar to the brake pedal, but this turns it into a floor-mounted version, which some people prefer. This is how it is in the Genesis GV60. But Ioniq 5 and EV6 both have the top-mounted version. So I installed this probably 3 months ago now. I've been using it nonstop. I haven't taken it out. I really like it. It's available on Shark Racing's website. It's honestly pretty affordable for what you're getting there. The only issue is that once you install it, you can no longer easily take floor mats in and out because it is secured down pretty tightly to that floor mat. So that's the one problem with it. You would have to cut out if you wanted to be able to take your floor mats out for washing and such. But if you don't ever take your floor mats out, obviously that's not an issue. I've also been testing Best EV Mods Ioniq 6 armrest here for the last few weeks. Stay tuned for a video on that. You'll see that my Comma 3X is still in the Ioniq 5. I was going to put it in the Ioniq 6 SE rear wheel drive, but when I started looking into it, This car is currently not supported by Comma 3X. So that is a big bummer. If I had known that alone, I would have gone with the Ioniq 6 SEL, which has HDA2, Highway Drive Assist 2, which is what's needed for Comma 3X. So I'm really bummed about that. I've been driving the Ioniq 5, honestly, a lot more because I can use the Comma 3X in here. I'm telling you guys, this thing is a game changer for semi-autonomous driving. It really makes driving so much less of a chore, especially on the highway. On the topic of the Comma 3X, I do also owe you guys some more videos on that. I have put over 1,000 miles while driving with this thing, so I'm gonna do kind of a long-term review video on the unit, tell you guys about some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like, and then I do need to start experimenting with some more of the advanced features, like basically advanced navigation where it will make turns for you and such. I just haven't had time to play with any of those features in the last few months, but stay tuned for that. A lot of you have also been asking, how has the new 12-volt battery in the Ioniq 5 been holding up? I know I got a little confusing there in the video about it. I told you guys that you should install an AGM, and then I ended up backtracking in the comment section after somebody told me that AGM batteries need a different voltage to charge at. Well, after the fact, I started a return for this, but because this was purchased through the manufacturer on Amazon, it wasn't eligible for free returns. So I would have had to pay about $30 to ship this thing back to the manufacturer. So I decided, you know what, I'll just keep it in the car and see what happens. At least it would make for interesting content for you guys and let you guys know what to expect if you do install an AGM. And I will say that I have had zero issues with it. Let's check the voltage here. I've been checking it periodically, and I have not seen it below about 12.4 volts. It's usually hovering between 12.4 and 12.5. So I think the car is doing a fine job of keeping it topped up. So at this point, yeah, I think AGM is probably the way to go. A lot of you have been asking me on the Facebook group how level 2 has been holding up since I took the charge port apart. And the highest I saw on the VCMS inlet temperature, which is the sensor under the flap here that is attached to one of the charging pins, I never saw it get above 183 degrees Fahrenheit, which is well under the threshold where it would start derating the charging, which is, I think, over 200 now. I want to say 220 or so. So yeah, the Ioniq 5 is charging perfectly fine. I have also tested the Ioniq 6 here to see if it has any derating problems, and it does not. This charges at 11 kilowatts also from as little as 0 to 100% state of charge. So both Ioniqs are charging perfectly fine. I know for a lot of you that is just not the case, but I guess I'm just lucky here. The Ioniq 6. Oh, the Ioniq 6. So I have really been struggling to put miles on this thing. Having two cars for one person is just a lot. It's very difficult to put any amount of miles on either of them at any given time. So I've had this thing for over 2 months now, and I literally just hit 1,000 miles the other day. I'm not even gonna come close to maxing out my allotted miles on my lease. I have 12,000 miles per year. I'll honestly be surprised if I put 4,000 to 5,000 miles on it. So I'm really overpaying for what I'm getting here, unfortunately. So I was planning on doing a 30-day review of the Ioniq 6. Obviously that has completely come and gone because 30 days would have been mid-May. It's now the end of June. It's just been really difficult to put miles on it, especially I've had some press cars. So I had the EV9. I also had the Volkswagen ID4 a couple weeks ago. And when I get a press car, I try to put as many miles on those as possible so I can give you guys a fair assessment of what I actually think about it. And I didn't feel like this car warranted a 30-day review, having only, I think, maybe 200, 300 miles on it. So I'll probably end up doing a 3-month review of the Ioniq 6, and then we'll do a 6-month, and then maybe a year, and then a 2-year eventually at the end of the lease term. So what about press cars? So like I said already, I did have the ID4 for about 4 or 5 days. I think it was 4 days. Unfortunately, I didn't get it for a full week like I do with most press review cars. So I didn't get to spend as much time with it as I wanted to, but I definitely did get a good sense of the changes that were made for the current model year of the ID4. So I've got a lot of thoughts. Stay tuned for that review video. I had the GV60 Performance a few weeks ago, expect that in the near future as well. I had already had the GV60 last summer of 2023, but they gave it to me so close to the change of the model year that at that point I said, what's the point of even editing this video? It's already outdated. So I didn't end up putting that review video out, but expect this one relatively soon because we are getting close to already the end of the current model year of that, so I want to get that out relatively soon. And you'll also be seeing my EV9 review coming out in the next week or so. I had that back in April as well. So lots of content coming out on other vehicles. I did do that Polestar 2 review last year. I did not have a whole ton of great stuff to say about it. So I'm interested to see if Volvo is going to work with me anymore in the future. With the Polestar 3 coming out, I really want to take a look at that and spend some time with that. Something I've really wanted to take a look at for a long time now is the Tesla Model Y. I know a lot of you are never going to buy a Model Y, but it is the elephant in the room. It was the best-selling car in the world for a while. I don't know if it is anymore, though, since Tesla's sales have been way down the last couple quarters. But either way, it's still a very competitive vehicle in its class. So it's something that I want to take a look at. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to get a Tesla Model Y now because the local Hertz that was carrying them no longer has them anymore. At the end of July, I'm also getting a Kona Electric for a week, so stay tuned for that. You guys probably know already I was really between the Ioniq 6 and the new Kona Electric. I obviously ended up going with the Ioniq 6, but the Kona Electric is still on my radar. I don't really know if I'm going to get one anytime soon. We really don't need 3 cars, but my mother is getting her gas car back from my fiance who's been driving her 2011 Ford Fusion for the last year instead of the Kona Electric that she leased 3 years ago. Her lease on the 2021 Kona Electric ends the first week of July, and my mom's going to be taking her Ford Fusion back. And after driving it for a year, my mom really doesn't want to go back to a gas car. She also just straight up loves the instant torque of the Kona Electric. I've driven with her in it a couple times, and she drives it like she stole it. Actually, the day that she drove me to the local Hyundai dealership when I was taking delivery of the Ioniq 6, she ended up getting pulled over by a cop because she was speeding in it. And this was after I pointed out the cop sitting there when we were getting close to the dealership. I said, hey, there's a cop checking radar. You might want to watch out on your way back. She still just sped by and got pulled over. I am also on the list to get the Ioniq 5N for a week at the end of this summer, so hopefully that will come sooner rather than later. I guess it's been really hot and a lot of journalists have been wanting to get their hands on it. So hopefully they can get that to me soon. You guys might have already seen my first drive review of the Ioniq 5N. That thing is just loads of fun. But I would definitely be able to get a much better picture with it after a week. And then there's just so much more going on the rest of this year. The EV3 is going to go on sale sometime between now and the end of the year. The Ioniq 9 midsize SUV is going to be announced in the next couple months. So I'm hoping I'll be able to either go to a launch event for that or some first drive events for it, so I can bring that to you guys. I'm also hoping that I can get down to the new Hyundai plant and get a tour of that and do a video on that. I think that would be a really cool thing to bring to you guys, especially since the 2025 Ioniq 5 is going to be the first Hyundai EV made here in the United States. So the 2025 Ioniq 5, the 2025 EV6 are all coming out later this year, so going to be getting first drives on those. And then, as I've been saying for a while now, I do plan on getting rid of my current Ioniq 5 for the updated version. So just so much going on this year. It's proving to be very tough to cover everything I want to cover on this channel as one person while running a manufacturing business, while also trying to balance just life in general. Regardless, lots of reviews coming in the next few months, so stay tuned for those. So anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this kind of update video. I hope you enjoyed finding everything out about my life and what's going on with the channel. Again, I really appreciate your guys' ongoing support, be it through watching my videos, liking them, subscribing, buying my accessories. I really appreciate all of it. If you guys are sending me messages or emails, just be aware I might not get back to you very quickly over the next few weeks to month and a half. I'm not ignoring you. I get a lot of emails, a lot of messages, and sometimes it's really difficult to keep up with them. I really love talking with you guys and getting to know all of you, so keep sending the messages, but there might be a little bit of a delay in getting back to you. So as always, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, check out my store at ioniqguy.com, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.